Hi folks, it's Razib Afridi from Game Logics, and this is part 7 of our tutorial series how to make color switch game in Unity. And it's been a long time that I haven't uploaded a video. Okay, so let's don't waste the time anymore and let's get started for what we are here. Okay, so before proceeding, I would like to show you one thing. I have uploaded the Unity version, okay, and the thing is that it's 2019 and my previous Unity version was 2017, okay, and that version was compatible with MonoDevelop, and this version is not, they are not supporting now the Unity developers, they don't the Unity community, they don't support MonoDevelop with the recent builds of Unity. Okay, so I have installed Visual Studio Code for that purpose, and that works with this fine. If you have already MonoDevelop, then I would recommend you to stick with that. Okay, you don't need to change that. Okay. But I had no choice, that's why I had to install Visual Studio Code. Okay, and the other thing that I would like to show you is this Singleton script. Okay, so I have made a few changes in this script, and those are, this is the previous code. Okay, and I would say that if you stick with the previous code, it's okay. Okay, you don't need to write this code if you don't want to. Okay, it's my personal preference. Okay, so the changes are these. Okay, so we have a static property. Okay, so first what it will do is it will come here, it will check this. Okay, if application is quitting is true, then it won't execute these lines. Okay, it will straight return null and will skip these statements. Okay, but if we haven't created an instance, it's basically our singleton, and I have already given you the idea of singleton in the previous tutorials. Okay, so it's if we haven't created any instance of our singleton yet, then what it will do is basically it will this method is basically used is used in order to find any type of object. Okay, you can pass here any type of object. It can be a game object, it can be like class, it can be anything. Okay, so it will find the type of that thing that you pass here to this method, to this type of method. You can pass it like a variable, I mean a data member, and it will return the type of the data member, like if it's a float, int, or a string, or a character. Okay, so this can be used for this purpose. And what it does is basically let's see if it shows the IntelliSense or not. Okay, I think it doesn't. Okay, so what it does is basically it find object of type of T. So T is a generic type, so it will find our whatever we have passed to this singleton. So it will find out the type of that generic type. Okay, and then it will typecast it to generic. Okay, to template, because it returns object, and object is not a generic type. Okay, in a broader sense. So this will typecast it to our generic template, and then it will store that in the instance, in our instance data member. Okay, which is of course of type template, of type generic. Okay, and then it will check if we have already created an instance of our singleton, like if it's greater than 0, Okay, if its length is greater than 0, like we have already created an instance, then we don't need to create another instance because it's our singleton class, and you know that singleton can have only and only one instance. So then it will return our instance. And if we haven't created any instance yet, then what it will do, it will simply create a game object. And I think, yeah, this is the code that I have already explained in the previous tutorial, so I don't need to explain this code in this tutorial. So let's create another script which will control our background menu and music. So our script is good to go, is ready. Okay, and this script is not needed in this scene. Okay, we will use the script in another scene, in the scene that I will create after this one. Okay, so let's write the code for this. Okay, and what we need in this class background menu and music is so what the hell, we need a static data member that will point to its own instant. It's basically like what we did in the singleton. It will work in the similar fashion like what we did in the singleton class. Okay, so static background menu and music, and let's name it bg music. Okay, background music. So it's of similar type like singleton, like this. See, it's of type T. Okay, so it will work in the same way. And another one we need to create an audio source. Why I can't access it? Let's see. Oops. We've got some errors. Yeah. Okay, so here's one issue with this Visual Studio Code, because it's when the internet is not when you are not connected with the Wi-Fi, then it doesn't work properly. Okay, like it won't provide you intelligence. Okay, before you start coding in the Visual Studio Code, you need to turn on your Wi-Fi just for a minute or two, so that it download its packages, and then you can turn it off. You can turn it off the Wi-Fi then. Okay, so I will turn on my Wi-Fi. Okay, so let's wait a while. See, it's here. If you can see this, downloading packages, and I don't know that whether it has downloaded the packages or not. No, I think that I should quit it and then I should start it again. Okay, then I hope that it will work. Okay, I think. Yeah, so now it can work. Okay, so it has downloaded the packages and now it will work. Okay, So audio source, see, audio source, yeah, because it's a background menu and music handler, so we need an audio source for this. Audio source, okay. And another thing is that it needs we need to create a float data member for our local sound volume, and another one is a boolean which will handle our muted audio, and we need another reference for our canvas, and we will call it menu canvas, okay. So as I said earlier that this will work like a singleton, so now we will follow, and we don't need these namespaces here, okay. So let's do something in the start method, and let's use the principle of singleton, okay. So if like bg music, so if it's equal to null, like we haven't assigned it anything, then we need to assign it what? The instance of its own, okay. So it will point to its own instance, okay, instance. And it's again the concept of singleton. And what we want to do, so it's basically our background, it will handle our background music, so it will stay with us in multiple scenes, okay. So we don't want to destroy it, don't destroy on load, and what we need to pass a game object, okay. So it won't destroy this game object because every script is associated with a game object, okay. And I have I don't think I remember that I have told you that every, like you can say that everything that you see in Unity is a kind of game object, okay. So every script is linked, is associated with a game object, okay. So we don't need to destroy it, else if bg music is not pointing to its own instance, you can write this, you can write here not equal to null, or you can like write it like not equal to this. Our bg music is not pointing to its own instance, or if it's not equal to null, mean we have already created an instance, okay. Then we don't need to create another instance for our background music. We only need one instance, okay, for this class. So it's another way of tackling that problem. So it's so now we want to, if we already have created an instance, or if it's not pointing to its own instance, then we need to destroy this. We don't want this, we need to destroy the game object, okay. Yes. And okay, other thing is we need to assign a value to our local sound volume, and it should be from our temporary game variable class and muted sound volume, and we will multiply this by 0.5, okay. So what it will do, it's a basic mathematics, like it's equal to like 1 divided by 2, it's half, okay. 0.5 mean 1 divided by 2, okay. Or you can say in basic mathematics, below the decimal point, we like, let me show you, do this, like no, I won't be able to show it here. Okay, so yeah, it's 1 divided by, where is division, 1 divided by 2. Okay, I was trying to show you something else. Okay, I will explain. Like in basic mathematics, you can write this as if we want to eliminate the decimal point. Okay, we draw here a line which is used for division, and below the decimal point we write 1, and the digits that are before decimal points we write as many 0 digits, or 0 digits, as many we have as many digits we have before decimal points. Like here we have only one digit, which is 5, so we will write 0.5 divided by 1, 0, like 10. So it will be treated as 5 divided by 10, and 5 divided by 10 is again equal to 0.5. Okay, see, so that's basic mathematics. So what it will do, it will be multiplied with this value 0.2, so it will make it 0.1. How? Like, you consider it 5 divided by 10, and this one 2 divided by 10. Okay, if we eliminate the decimal point, so when 2 is multiplied by 5, it will give us 10, and then 10 multiplied by 10, it will give us 100. Okay, so 10 divided by 100 is equal to 0.1, so it will make it half. See, okay, half means half of this, it's 0.2, and half will be 0.1. Okay, so it will be assigned to this local sound volume. Okay, so I think you got the idea, and this is how I explain things. Okay, because I want you to understand each and everything. Okay, so it's my, like you can say, it's my personal, it's my, yeah, this is the main difference between me and the other YouTubers. Okay, so let's proceed. And now we need to do something with our audio source. No, what the hell, what I have named it, a source or what OS. Okay, so let's use this audio source will be, so let's get the audio source component here, and no, so it will get the audio source. Okay, and which we haven't attached the script to any game object yet. Okay, we will do that later, and maybe it will give us in no, it won't, it shouldn't give us error because we haven't attached this script to any object, any game object. Okay, now what we need to do is what we need to do, yeah, if the game is playing that we don't want, like if you are playing the game, then at that point we don't want our menu canvas to be displaying. Okay, so let's make it disabled. Okay, this menu canvas will work for our pause and play. Like we want to pause the game, then it will be displayed, and if you want to resume the game, then it will be gone, it will disappear. Okay, so find objects of type, let me show you. I think now IntelliSense is working. Yeah, returns the first active loaded object of type. See, it returns object. So that's why we need to typecast it as T. And system.type, it takes the arguments of type of. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so menu canvas dot enabled is equal to false. So it shouldn't be showing when we are playing the game. Now let's check one other thing. If our temporary game variables dot muted is equal to 1, why I used 1? Because it's in int. It's in int. This one, see, it's in int. So if it's 1 means it's on. Then yeah, so our muted audio should be equal to true, and our audio source dot mute property should also be equal to true, and else what the hell, oops. Okay, it should be else if, to be more specific. Okay, so let's copy this and if it's 0, then they both should be false. These are some issues with this Visual Studio Code, but I like it. It's a good one. It's a good idea as compared to mono develop. It's my personal preference. Okay. Okay, so, and yeah, let's do one thing more. The audio source volume should be our local sound volume. Okay, so this is it, and let's create another method. We don't need this update here. Okay, so let's create another method, mute audio. It's a public method, so we will call it from the inspector, like we will attach it to some kind of button. Okay, like mute audio, we will have an icon for the enabling and disabling the sound. Okay, so first, when it is called, what it will check is basically muted audio, and it will make it like this. So this is, it's a single line of code, but it's very important to know that what it does. It's basically, it will switch, it will change the status of the button. Like if the volume is not mute, okay, like the sound is enabled, So what it will do when you will call this method, so what it will do, if the volume is not mute, so it will make it mute. Okay, it's like it flips the button. Okay, so it works like on and off, like when you are playing with some kind of switches. Okay, on and off, so it works in that way. Okay, so if the volume is not mute, it will make it mute, and if it's already mute, then it will make it unmute. It will then we will be able to hear the sound, okay, of the game. Okay, like we are and some other cases, or you can say some other scenarios for this thing can be like if you are playing a game and you all of a sudden you want to pause the game, so it can work for that scenario. Or like you are watching some sort of movie or listening to music and you want to pause the song or you want to pause the movie, then you will simply click the pause button. Okay, and then if you want to resume the song or the movie, then you will again click that same button, so it will flip the the status. Okay, it will change the status of that button. Like if it's playing, it will stop it, it will pause it, or if it's already paused, it will resume it. Okay, so I think that much explanation is enough. Now if muted audio is true, okay, like the sound is mute, so muted audio, like audio source dot mute should be true. Okay, it should be true. And player prefs dot getEnt, so our muted audio, it's the key and the value should be 1, like it's true. Okay, this one, and this spelling should be exactly the same to what we have used here. Okay, this one. Okay, I have what the hell I have used it. Get, it should be setEnt. Okay, we are setting its value to 1, not getting it. It should be setEnt. Okay, and else, like if it's not true, if it's false, and copy this and paste it here. Our audio source should not be mute, so let's make it false and let's assign it 0 because it's an int. Okay, so I think that this is all what we need in our background music music class. So I think that this is enough for this tutorial, and if you haven't subscribed my channel, so subscribe it and press the bell icon for notifications. And if you have any kind of questions or confusions, then feel free to ask and comment. Okay, so see you in the next tutorial.